Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take, 11 minutes and I want to talk to you guys just about the channel and a couple things I've been noticing. First off, hello. I'm Evil Gaming Incorporated and my name is Shorty. I'm called Shorty because I actually am an old YouTuber from back in the 2020s. Well, that's not that old, but it is. Back in 2020, I ran a Call of Duty channel called Shorty Index and I covered Call of Duty drama as well as I just pretended to make a big deal out of very small things. I grew that channel to 6,300 subs before I felt like I was doing the opposite of a Call of Duty shill and I was just being a Call of Duty hater even though I loved the game. So without going in too much detail, I ended up just saying screw it and I just stopped posting videos there. Though it was doing well, I had collaborations with content creators much bigger than myself like the Rick and It's Happa. I was over it and I decided to start covering news back in 2024 under the channel name Shorty Index News. This channel did very good. I got up to about 7,700 subs, but YouTube made a switch in the algorithm a couple months ago and it absolutely destroyed the channel. Ripped it out of the algorithm. I had copyright claims, not strikes, but claims out of my butt. And essentially, if you take too much damage to your YouTube account, it's like a health bar on a boss. Eventually, it just kind of dies. And I sat there and I started thinking to myself, Shorty, what are you going to do? You are getting older, you're not really able to compete, competitively. I don't like making fake content like a lot of the other content creators do, like Tim the Tatman and stuff, where they pretend they're excited about everything as long as the payment check is right. So I sat down for a little while and I was like, what am I gonna do? While sitting there, I looked over on my desk and I realized I have stacks and stacks of notepads and hard drives filled with different games I've played. How it works when I make a video is I play the game and then I write down notes. Here's on screen the notes I'm currently taking for the mission that you're seeing right now, the Snake Oil Salesman mission. While playing games, I like to write down the notes of the mission name, I write down what's happening, and then I write down my thoughts on that mission. What I like and I don't like. I've always done this. I grew up in the era where if you wanted to make it through a dungeon, you had to draw the dungeon on the map so you could figure out how to get out of it before mini-maps were the common occurrence. And I realized I could take that and I could form it into longer videos and share that with you guys. And so I did. In fact, I did it before I even started this channel. Mass Effect, the video on this channel, and Assassin's Creed 1 were both actually meant for the Shorty Index News channel, and I did upload them over there. I've even shared it down below in the comments when people have asked if these are re-uploaded from another channel because how am I getting this content out so fast? Yes, those two videos were uploaded to Shorty Index News. Over there, they got 20 views. So we're talking hundreds of hours of work for 20 views. I made exactly 13 cents off of them. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start a new channel under a new entire brand and I'm just going to kind of do what I've always wanted and I don't really care who watches or who doesn't. So I took that Assassin's Creed video and I took that Mass Effect video and I uploaded it to the Evil Gaming Incorporated channel. OG viewers of the channel will remember I was also making news shorts over here where I pretended to be the leaders of like evil companies like Activision, Ubisoft, and EA. Those videos have all been removed because I don't want to make another news channel. I want to make a channel where I can play retro games and offer my opinions. It turned out that those videos did really good, and while those two videos were doing good at the time, like I'm talking, I got 50, 100 views on a channel that had no subs, I was quite blown away. I was working on Saints Row 1. I released that, it did really well, so I made Saints Row 2. And that video absolutely blew up, and here we are now. I'm pumping out content every single week, these massive videos, so let me explain to you how it works. I play the game. I take notes. I then take those notes and I record and I make a script. The only part of my entire video that is scripted is the opening sequence because I want to make sure I get across the information that needs to be there. When the game released, who made the game, thoughts from critics at the time, thoughts from players at the time, and then thoughts on the same thing nowadays in modern times. After that, every single mission comes directly from my notes. I watch the video the same as you guys do and I literally live narrate it as we're doing it and that's how it all works out. If I need to speed up a section to fit the amount that I want to talk about it, I will. If I need to extend the section, I will. Here's how my folders look as I'm recording the videos. This is for Red Dead Redemption, which will be after Saints Row 2022. I break it down by missions and side quests. That way, if I need filler, I go over the side quests, I pull out one of those videos, I throw it in here. This is done specifically for 3 reasons. The first reason is it makes my videos stand out above everybody else's. If you go watch other deep dives, they'll play the entirety of Red Dead Redemption in an hour and 40 minutes. That's interesting because this is a 15 to 20 hour game if you only focus on the main story missions alone, which means there's a lot of cutout content. I've never liked that about other deep dives. I want to see the cutscene, I want to know the story the way the developers shared it, and then I want to hear your opinion, so that's what I do. It's why I leave the entire cutscene in, and every single one of my videos has gotten copyright claimed. But I think it's important for you guys to see and hear it the way the developers wanted to, then hear my opinions. The second thing this allows me to do is I can then critique the game on its own, but then within the bubble of its own franchise. Think of it like Saints Row. I can critique one, but reference what I liked about it and how that translates through the rest of the franchise. Or when we get to Saints Row 3 and we see how wacky it is, I can then reference the wackiness that is the foundation block and say this is the start of what would eventually become the Saints Row reboot. We can see the fractures in the foundation here of the franchise, and that's what led to the terribleness that was the 2022 version of Saints Row. Think of it like a microscope. If I zoom in, I can zoom in on a specific cell, and that cell on its own might be special or not special, but if I zoom out, you can see the whole ecosystem. That's what I like to do in the game. I like to focus on the game, then zoom out and compare it to the rest of it. Then I offer my opinions based on what I do and don't like about the game. This leads me to the third reason I make the videos the way that I do. I want it to feel like you and me are sitting on the couch and playing the game together, and we are having a conversation. But the problem with the video is that you and me are not sitting on that couch, so I have to make my thoughts extremely clear so you guys know where I'm coming from. I also have to do it in an entertainment way, so yes, maybe I play it up a little bit here or there. That's no different than any other YouTuber on this entire planet. I'm opening the door. I'm giving you half the conversation, and then I'm allowing you guys the space to fill in your half of it. And if you've spent any time down in the comment section, you can see I reply to pretty much everyone. There will be a point where I won't be able to do that anymore, but I work my butt off to make sure that each and every person feels like their conversation is heard. In the history of this channel, which has only been 2 months, I've had exactly one person that hated me named Paul. And I had one person critique me saying I'm not a game dev. I'm not upset with that person at all, but I want to address that right now. I don't have to be a game developer to play a video game and say, hey, this doesn't work or this does work. It's no different than you looking at a cut on your hand and going, that needs stitches and or a band-aid without needing a PhD in hand surgery. I have been playing games since I was literally 3 years old. I played on the Sega Genesis, I played on the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, I played on the Dreamcast, the Atari, all the different versions of Game Boys, the Xbox original, the PlayStation 1, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, and every Xbox and console you can think of except for the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. I can feel comfortable enough to say I have played video games enough to have a pretty good understanding about what I do and I do not like about a game. And I always say that. It's my opinions. It's just me opening the conversation to you. But at the same time, if maybe a little bit more of us were a little bit more critical about the games rather than just summarizing them all up as this is good and or bad, and we said, hey, we like this and we don't like that, maybe we would have better games in the current modern day gaming landscape rather than watching franchises we love like Call of Duty fall off the face of the planet, Saints Row fall off the face of the planet. Here's the thing, at the end of the day, I'm critiquing games that are 20 to 25 years old and up. We're covering Saints Row 2006 all the way up to 2026. That is the span of 20 years. The games I'm covering have already sold their copies, they've already made their successes, and they've already covered everything that they're going to cover. I'm just coming in and offering my opinions on each individual game and leaving the room for you guys to offer yours. Here's what I'm hoping eventually this will turn into. I want my channel to almost be like an archive of great games, and obviously because it's my channel and I'm the one making the videos, I'm gonna be the one that's biased to it. You can't go watch the news or go to a restaurant or even talk to the person down the road without them having a bias. So when I'm playing the games, I do my best to separate it from itself. An example of this is like, let's take Saints Row 4. I was accused of saying that it's the same equivalent as modern day microtransaction slop. This same person didn't realize that it came with 2 DLCs and 25 cosmetic DLCs. But in my video, I deliberately chose to ignore the microtransaction side of it because it's completely optional for you to buy. Do I like microtransactions? No, not at all. I think if I buy a game and you're going to sell me extra content, that's most likely content you've already put into the game. But I deliberately left it out of my review of Saints Row 4 because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the game has DLC or has microtransactions because I'm here for the story. Moving forward, I want this video to always be here so I can say I've already said this to you and I don't have to reply to those comments anymore. My hope is just to share games again, make games fun again. We're called Evil Gaming Incorporated because I think it's funny to do a play on the fact that every game is now evil. Every company that makes games is now evil. There's a few standout ones, don't get me wrong, but most of them are evil. Ubisoft expects you to break your disc if they decide to end service for that game, like The Crew. EA is constantly asking you for money while selling you the same game over and over again. Activision heavily uses AI to make their games while simultaneously remastering maps that came out last year. We're Evil Gaming Incorporated, but my actual core message is I want to have games be games again. Games should be an escape from reality. You shouldn't be reminded of how much money is in your bank by a game asking you to pay them more money for microtransactions. You should just be able to play the game. Great example of this is Grand Theft Auto 6 for some reason is releasing a trailer on Netflix before anywhere else. Meaning if somebody doesn't have $10 a month to watch the Netflix release, they're already having FOMO and missing out. I want this channel to both remember the great moments in gaming while simultaneously referencing and pointing out the massive gaping wounds in some of the franchises. And I want to do it where you guys can watch the entire video from beginning to end and understand the full game. Some of my videos will be an hour and a half, and some of them are going to be 10-15 hours. That's what I'm willing to take on in order to showcase the best and worst of what gaming has to offer. I could be another clickbait YouTuber. I've done it. I don't want to be that. I want to give you guys a channel that feels real, genuine, and unique. Hence why my videos are 5-6 hours long, fully edited, fully narrated, and fully me. Anyways, channel associates, you guys got a video coming out shortly, probably next week, of the vlog of how I make my videos. That's for you guys only. Saints Row Gat Out of Hell releases on Friday. I'm working on the reboot, and clearly I'm working on Red Dead Redemption for after the reboot. See you guys in the next video. I just wanted to clear some things up.